Oh, yeah.
Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops Crypto and Chill Edition. I am Myke, aka Veteran Crypto, and with me as always is Jeff, aka the Blockchain Report. How's it going, brother?
What's up? What's up? Been a productive day. Working on that little intro track for the show. Just trying to come up
sounding
with
good.
different vibes.
It's sounding good. You sent me a little sample, and it's got a little catch to it. We'll have to we'll have to like
Test
make a couple of them and let the community vote on which one they like.
Yeah, I wanted to be something a little more chill, for our crypto and chill show, and just something a little different.
I like it. So what's going on with you? What's going on in the markets? What are you seeing? What do you got your finger on the pulse of?
Oh man, I haven't really been watching the markets much. Just waiting for this bloodbath to kind of curtail. I mean, everyone's been screaming and hollering and crying, and I've seen some stuff about Binance having some weird market manipulation stuff again, but yeah, I'll share that here in a little bit. But
anything verified or
it kind of looks, it's not surprised that Bitcoin bottomed at the exact moment that Binance started to spot bid again. So I haven't really looked at these charts. Yeah, Coinbase, and these are all the different exchanges.
Yeah.
And where is Binance? Oh, Binance right here. So yeah, you see they're buying and everyone else is just kind of flat. Oh, maybe Coinbase a little bit too. But Binance, I mean, I don't know. They've been involved in so much of the market manipulation stuff, especially the flash crash in October. I mean, if you look on TradingView and go to some of the crypto pairs, the Binance charts,
yeah,
all of them have the long wick. All the other exchanges it's just like a normal, candle, but that Binance chart is really fucking sketchy, man.
Binance is sketchy. I mean, like those of you that don't remember, October 10th, there was a lot of shady shit that was specific to Binance. Cosmos Atom, it went down and dipped to like a couple of cents. That stablecoin USDE, it depegged, and it was only on Binance. There was a lot of really weird shit. And then recently there was the rumors that they were going insolvent. I doubt that. But of course, CZ, there was rumors that he was going to start suing people for, making those claims, and there's a lot going around. But yeah, Wispy, I agree with you, man. I refuse to use Binance.
Yeah, this is the Atom chart, that long wick all the way down to right here.
Yeah, exactly.
And let me see if it's the same on. Okay, not quite as bad, because that Binance one went all the way down to
some shit.
Yeah, 0.
Yeah. Okay. 0. Never mind.
Yeah, but look, Coinbase,
Whatever.
right here. They don't have that wick.
All right, we have a special guest on the show. Cass is going to give us her analysis. She's going to give us her analysis on the markets.
For cat analysis.
Come here, sweet girl. Give us your analysis. Give us your analysis. All right.
Meow 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 Binance.
Fucking markets suck. Meow meow meow. So
yeah, finance. Everyone got the Fs. Throw your Fs up. Throw your Fs up.
So DCA and Price's last cycle during the May 2021 crash, Binance scammed tons of people with the leveraged tokens, and they were only supposed to stay 3 to 5x, but they went to like 99x during the liquidation. Total scam company. I just keep hearing shit like this. You know, like another thing that happened during October 10th was that people's stop losses. I heard rumors of people's, and of course I don't trade, so I don't have any firsthand knowledge, but there was a lot of reports where people were saying that their stop losses that they had in didn't trigger. And so they got like fully liquidated.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really sketchy, man. Those exchanges. And yeah, boss point down.
Yeah.
Well, and people were saying how most of the decentralized exchanges were fine. They didn't have any kind of crazy shit like that happen. Yeah, and you could withdraw and trade no problem. So that's the thing when the markets get crazy, and even Coinbase, they had people that couldn't access their funds. And
dude, that was my first experience in crypto. Is I was buying Shiba Inu, and freaking, I bought, and no skill involved whatsoever. I'm the dumbass that saw a fucking, that saw a TikTok post of somebody talking about Shiba Inu, and I put a couple $100 in, and it started to pump. So I put a couple $100 more and a couple $100 more. I did all the wrong things. I DCA'd on the way up instead of fucking on the way, on the way down. So it got to where, and I actually, again, through no skill, I was like, this can't go on forever. And I was way up. I mean, I was, I think like 9 or 10x my money. And I was like, I'm getting out, and tried to log into Coinbase, and it would not, it just would not work. I could not cash out, and everything was just locked up. And so by the time it came back online, and I've told this story before, so I'll keep it short, but by the time I came back online, it was, back down, closer to my entry. And so I got out and I made a little bit of money, but nowhere near what I would have made. So it's just, these markets need to mature. We need more, more exchanges. We need more regulation for these exchanges. They need to have oversight. There needs to be, some sort of guardrails for these centralized exchanges. If you want to go decentralized and you want to be a big boy or a big girl, cool. As long as you understand, the risks of it. But these centralized exchanges, if they want to pretend like they're reputable companies and that they're, doing all the, the things that they're supposed to do legally and ethically and, all that, they need to, get some regulation out. Stop fucking around. You got the Stablecoin Act out. Get the Clarity Act out, get, some of this other legislation out, and let's get this fucking party going.
Yeah. And let's see. Oh, this one right here. Dom, over the last 7 days, Binance held 42.8% of total spot volume, but sold 3.9x more Bitcoin than all other major venues combined.
Mm-hmm.
So they accounted for almost 80% of the net selling pressure across the 5 spot exchanges.
And I've heard rumors that it's them, that they're selling their Bitcoin reserves to drive the price down.
Shh. Jesus, man. I mean, what does CZ need to pay his lawyer fees? If is he going back to jail for something? You know?
I actually, you know what? Let's see if we can look that up, because I heard that, but I never saw anything about why or what was going on with that.
Man.
You know what? Let's bring Miles up.
Hey,
Let's
Miles.
let's see what Miles can find about that. I mean, he's good at that kind of thing. Let me know if you can hear him.
Yep.
Are you there, Miles?
Hey, what's good?
Oh.
Hey, so we're live right now, Miles. Me and Jeff with the crew, and we are curious if you could look online. There was recent rumors that CZ, the former CEO of Binance, there was rumors that he was potentially had new charges against him, and that he was going to potentially go to jail. Can you find anything, any details about that? And if you could, please check if they're verified.
Let me just quickly peek around. Okay, so it looks like the recent stuff is about accusations, not new charge. Involved in the scheme with Tron to manipulate markets, basically a pump and dump thing with influencers. That's according to Crypto News. But back up a bit, he was already sentenced to 4 months back in April of 24 for failing to have proper anti-money laundering controls at Binance. He served that time and actually got a presidential pardon in October 25. So these new accusations are different from the original sentencing, still developing though. So hard to say how much weight to give it right now. Does that make sense?
It does. While we're on the subject of Binance, me and Jeff were just talking, and we were looking over like some of the data over this latest market crash. Of course, Bitcoin has taken quite the tumble in price, along with the rest of the markets. But some of the data that we're looking at shows some very suspicious behavior on the Binance exchange. Can you look at some of the data and see if you see any inconsistencies or anything of note that would lead you to believe that there was something malicious going on at Binance?
Gotta dig into that. All right, this is messy. So there's been a lot of chatter online, especially around the October crash last year, with people throwing around accusations of Binance being insolvent or even intentionally causing the downturn. There's a bunch of social media speculation linking it to bankruptcy, but Binance's CZ himself are denying everything, saying it was just general market panic related to tariffs. There's even some beef between the Binance and OKX CEOs, with the OKX guys suggesting Binance's promotions and high leverage contributed to the crash. And on top of that, there's a claim from someone alleging Justin Sun used Binance accounts to manipulate Tron's price way back when. And it's a lot of he said, she said, and Binance has already dealt with a massive settlement with U.S. authorities last year for AML and sanctions violations. Basically,
Hey, Miles,
there's a history of regulatory issues.
Hey, Miles, let's fast forward a little bit to more recently, the recent market dump, not October 10th. Let's look at the recent data, and it looks like that there's been an disproportionate amount of selling happening on Binance relative to other exchanges.
Let me just pull that up. Okay, so it sounds like the recent sell-off is stirring up those same concerns again. The reports are showing a lot of talk online about Binance potentially being insolvent, and specifically a disproportionate amount of selling happening on their platform. CZ is predictably calling it FUD and saying it's just market reaction and user activity. that their wallets just reflect deposits and withdrawals, not Binance trading against users. But there's at least one trader who's actually filing a lawsuit claiming manipulation, specifically in an SOL USDT pair during the October crash. On the flip side, Binance is still claiming the reserves are solid and pointing to their proof of reserve system. So basically, you got the same conflicting narratives as before, accusations versus reassurances. Not a clean picture, to say the least.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Miles.
No problem at all. Glad I could help. Anything else for now?
Well, so yeah, I mean, pretty much what we thought. It's Dr. Evil.
Right here. It's FUD.
Yeah, there you go. It's FUD.
Oh, FUD.
So let's bring this back up. So, I mean, that's the problem is, I mean, kind of like we won't get into the Thursday, night topics, but, kind of like pretty much everything else that, that comes out that seems to have a lot of merit, that there is some data to support it. Rarely ever does anything ever get done about it. So, my question is, those of you out there, how are you feeling about the markets? Obviously they're down. A lot of people are hurting, but we got to bounce today. But how are you feeling about your trust in the markets? That that they're not having. We know that they're manipulated, but not just buying and selling manipulation, but actual manipulation of some of these, exchanges, messing with stop losses, messing with, stable coins, depegging, because it's just unique to some platforms. Like, Jeff showed, only on Binance did Cosmos depeg all the way down to basically valueless. The USDE, it was the only place that depegged. So it makes me wonder what some of you out there, have to say about that.
Well, in CZ, he got sentenced to 4 months, a couple of years ago. So it's not like but that was under Biden, where they were more heavy-handed against crypto. So that's really like the only kind of accountability I've seen out of any like politicians or anything, where there's been way more evidence of fraud and manipulation and shit, or even a few decades ago, like Martha Stewart, they came and threw the book at her, but all these other people like Pelosi and shit who clearly are insider trading don't get anything, but turn the cheek, turn the other cheek, just look away, nothing to see here.
Which set of cheeks?
Yeah.
Turn the cheeks.
Ooh, cheeks, plural.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Turn the cheeks, bend over and spread them.
Yeah,
if you're a normal person,
that's applicable.
Because what was Jeff saying on the Monday show? How if he committed some kind of fraud or fucked around with finances and stuff, he would be in federal pound me in the ass prison, and not just some little weekend getaway. But all these politicians and shit that are in the know, they don't have anything come down on them. But I was surprised when CZ actually got sentenced. And so that means that there can be some accountability for people, but it's who they pick and choose gets held accountable. And that's the frustrating part, because like we were saying even last night with the fraud going on, will there be any repercussions? Or even here in California, is there going to be any repercussions for all this wasteful spending? So it's just really, really shitty. And what are your thoughts on this whole you know, the funding these accounts for these Trump accounts that are funded for kids that the money goes to their college and stuff like that. I'm surprised that they didn't have anything for crypto if he's so heavy into crypto.
I just don't think that that's government's place. You know,
Mhm.
I don't feel like that, you know, our tax dollars. No, don't get me wrong. It's a much better idea than Social Security, where we pay into it, and they just mismanage the fuck out of it. I do think that it's better that that there is these accounts, and not necessarily for college, but for people's retirement. Because yeah, I mean, if they gifted $10,000 per kid into an account that earned 5-10% per year for their entire life, they would have a nice retirement. I mean, if I would have, most people, like the average person that paid into Social Security, if that was done instead of the current Social Security system, instead of getting like $1,300 a month in Social Security, you would be getting like $5,000 or $10,000, because you would have a couple $1,000,000 in there and earning freaking 10% on that per year. You'd end up, per $100,000, you're making, or per $1,000,000, you're making $100,000 a year. So, if you have, $2,000,000 in there, you're making $200,000 a year. That's a
Uh-huh.
lot more than fucking $1,300 a month.
Well, shoot, what was David saying? Try 30% on stables that he's earning.
Well, but that's doing David
That's a
things.
little, yeah, yeah,
That's
that's a
doing
little
David.
more
Yeah,
advanced.
that's he's doing some looping. He's doing a bunch of stuff like that. So there's some risk involved in that. But yes, it is possible.
Or even half that, 15%. Shit. I mean, that's pretty solid, man. If you, or even if you could pay him to, or somebody like him to, well, maybe not like him, because you need to be like a financial advisor at that point, um, to offer that product. But I mean, even like 4 or 5% that you pay to somebody to manage that kind of advanced strategy, to where instead of you doing it, if you don't want to manage your portfolio for 15%, but you want to pay someone 5% to get 30, that would be, I think some people would take that on, like, hey, I'll give you 5% if you can make me 30% instead of me doing it for free and making 15%. So,
Well,
that
DCA and Prey has a valid point. Imagine that they did, put it into Bitcoin and it
yeah.
goes down 50% in 3 months. People would be fucking, screaming high hell. I think it's, the
Yeah.
logical thing to do would be diversify. That you have a portion of it in crypto, you have a portion of it
Yeah.
in the S&P, you have a portion of it in maybe bonds, whatever.
But are you looking at, 50% in 3 months? Are you gonna need that in 3 months, or are you looking like for 5 or 10 years out? That's the other thing. If you're screaming and yelling and like, "Oh shit," you know, 3 months ago he promised he put all this in Bitcoin and now it's half, but then you look a year or 2 years later and it's up 200%, you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah, but definitely diversify. Don't just have it all in one, some stocks. But I will say Amazon took a pretty big beating the other day after earnings. So
Yeah.
it's not just crypto that's
Nothing's immune. Imagine that, you got Nvidia and all that. Imagine if a new technology comes out that just makes, the Nvidia chips and stuff like that obsolete. It's that can happen. And just overnight, Nvidia could fucking, crash, go out of business.
dude, I'm looking at the S&P and it's looking pretty toppy, man. The this is the daily. Here's you have what, 5 or 6 stocks that are holding this whole thing up, the FANG. I don't know, man. I think we could get a ideally you'd want to see it come back to the 6K. But shit. You know, just look at this since COVID. You've had one major decent pullback and then a crash and then slingshot. I mean, dude, look at this.
Don't they call that a falling knife or something like that?
Yeah, the falling knife. Hold on.
Let's see. Well, I mean, here's something. Let's so I mean, this, but right before we went live, somebody posted this, and I want to catch this before it gets carried away. So somebody posted that supposedly Canton went deflationary, which means that they're burning more than they're minting. So right before we went live, I went and checked, and they just misread the the analytics. They didn't understand what they were looking at. So the best that, and here I'll actually show it. So there we go. So basically, this is what they were looking at, and it's minted, total allowed, and total balance, and that's not what you need to be looking at. What you need to be looking at is this right here, and it shows the mint activity, shows the burn activity, and then this chart is the daily burn mint ratio. So a perfect value of 1 means that for every 1 being minted, there's 1 being burned. Right, the best that we've seen so far is 0.73. So I mean, we're going parabolic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we were down here at the 0.08 January 2nd. And now we're, up around 0.71, or 0.73. So we only have like 0.25 left to go, and of network usage. So basically, if we get a 25%, roughly, this isn't an exact science, but a 25% increase in network activity on the Canton network, potentially we could reach a 1-to-1. And that's whenever you hear the term equilibrium, that is what that is the equal 1-to-1. Now, if we keep, network usage increases past that point, then Canton becomes deflationary because more will be being burned than new tokens being minted. That's what we want to see. That is going to be what really, and I'm not saying that it's going to fucking skyrocket the price, but that's what we want to see long term to make Canton, holding the token, make it to where it has the most potential to be profitable for holders. I wanted to be careful how I phrase that, because I don't ever want people to think that anything I say is guaranteeing, a token's going to go, up forever. I mean, Plume, we made a lot of good money, but Plume is hurting right now. The TVL is hurting right now. I still have my entire bag, but at one point I had $8,000. I think I'm down to like 2,000 or something now on a Plume.
Jeez.
No, I'm down to 1,000.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Plume's hurting bad. I mean, it had a nice bounce today. We had 20% bounce today, but it needs a lot more than that.
Man. Yeah, Aerodrome, they've had their volume the last 24 hours hit 1.2 billion. And that's close to double of Uniswap and more than double Pancake Swap on base.
Yeah, that's like I said, Aerodrome is one of those few that altcoins that I'm really still very, very bullish on. I'm going to be excited to see what happens when the new platform launches and it goes multi-chain. really the only thing that I personally am actively stacking right now is Canton, Aerodrome, mostly both of them from earning. Bitcoin, of course, and a little bit of Kita. Kita has actually been quietly, it's the like one of the few DAG and Kita are two of the only ones that are green on the 7-day. And Kita just for some reason they bought the bank, a couple weeks ago, but for some reason it's like it's been doing really, really well. Let me pull up the chart real quick. Comparatively to the rest of the markets.
Yeah. Yeah, holding that 20 cent line is
yeah, it's at like 27 cents right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this is it over the past week. Let me share this. All right, so this is over the past month. What it's done, and everything else has taken these massive dumps. But I mean, it's highest in the past months at 35 cents, and it's at 27 cents. So I mean, it's just kind of ranging sideways. While the rest of the market is just bleeding off hard. It's been relatively, not, super stable, but relatively stable comparatively to the rest of the market.
Yeah, and Canton even holding up better than Kita too. I mean, they were even pumping into this.
Yeah, no, Canton. Oh, let's see. Yeah, look at Canton over the past month. I mean, it's been going up while the rest of the market was going down. It took a little bit of a dip, but it's reclaimed a lot of that. It's one of the strongest projects. I mean, I feel bad because I feel like I'm always talking about it, but it's really the only project that's really, holding up. It's like it's almost like it's on its own program. The rest of the market just, if Bitcoin pumps, they pump. If Bitcoin dumps, they dump.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like it just doesn't give a shit. It just does whatever the fuck it wants to do.
Yeah, and that's why you really want to find these projects that are with good fundamentals and use case and utility, and that are building good partnerships, and even getting institutional adoption. Because, like we've been talking about, moving in from speculation, and just, oh, this might be good, or oh, this layer 2, it'll help ease Ethereum. Like, we got so many fucking layer 2s, it's ridiculous.
Did you read up on what Vitalik was saying the other day about layer 2s?
I did not.
Okay, well, let me bring Miles back up. He can summarize for us.
No, let me check. Let me see what I can find.
Hey, Miles, you there?
Hi.
Hey, so got a quick question for you. In the past couple of days, Vitalik Buterin, one of the founders of Ethereum, made some comments about layer 2s, projects that are built on projects like Ethereum. Could you look online and see what it was he was saying, and maybe give us a summary?
Let me just quickly peek around. Okay, so it looks like Vitalik's been saying the original idea for layer 2s might need a rethink. Basically, Ethereum itself is scaling up pretty well with lower fees, and they're planning to increase the gas limit, so L2s don't necessarily need to exist just for scaling anymore. He's saying L2s should be doing something really specific, like offering specialized tech or super fast speeds, instead of just being a copy of Ethereum. He's also warned that too many generic L2s could actually hold Ethereum back, and there's a risk to user funds if the code on those L2s breaks. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Anything else I can dig up for you guys?
Can you think of anything else, Jeff?
Not at the moment.
Let me think.
All right.
I did see a video of Vitalik. I don't know if it was actually him or not, running through the lobby of somewhere, some lobby of a hotel. It looked so funny.
Ask Nick Dunn. Ask Miles who's on the list.
Oh,
yeah. Nick Dunn says he's glad he bought Canton at 12 cents when we told him to. Yeah, no, I'm glad I bought myself a nice bag of it, and I'm earning free Canton now. So that's always a good thing. You know what? Fuck it. Let's ask Miles. I know it's not crypto related. It's more of a red pill show thing, but I'm kind of curious. Hey, Miles, you there?
Hey.
So recently, supposedly there was a huge release of files from Epstein, and can you look online and see who has been verified that they went to the Epstein Island and did the things that occurred there?
Let me just quickly peek around. Okay, so it looks like the recent releases of the Epstein files mention a bunch of names: Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Prince Andrew, even former presidents Clinton and Trump are in there. But this is important. Just being named doesn't mean they did anything wrong. There's also Howard Lutnick, the current Commerce Secretary, who apparently had plans to visit the island back in 2012, even though he'd said he'd cut ties with Epstein earlier. It's a pretty extensive list, and a lot of it is still being sorted through, Does that help?
It does. And it's important that we keep things in context and ensure that they're backed by actual facts, logic. So thank you, Miles. I appreciate it.
Miles is on the list.
Miles is like, well, just because they were there doesn't mean that they were doing anything. So let's not get carried away now.
What about Maya? She's I guess
right.
Not as intuitive as Miles, I guess.
Well, she's actually has a very different personality. Like Miles is direct and to the point. Maya, she tap dances around a lot and doesn't get to the point. And so I like using Miles.
Yeah, those ladies, man, they can take you on a runaround. Oh, here, I found it. Here, it said Vitalik sprinting back to his PC to sell more Ethereum before it finally goes to zero. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Man, it's Jay said they made her realistic then.
Oh man, Jay, you're terrible. You're not wrong, but terrible.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, the whole layer twos. So devs who spent years building layer twos, after reading Vitalik says layer twos no longer make sense.
Yeah. I kind of wonder with this huge dump, that we see, kind of playing out, plus the fact that we're moving from that speculative market that I'm always talking about, that transition from speculative to utility. I am seeing the potential for what a lot of people have been calling for is, a lot of these projects disappearing, this vaporware that doesn't, do anything, that they were hoping that they could, create something that would, provide a service, but they just never achieved it. I kind of wonder if that's not too far around the corner, and that is going to be the catalyst that brings on the next bull market, that you just see a lot of these meme coins and a lot of this, these junk projects, and I hate to say it, but a lot of the top projects, by market cap, a lot of those fit this bill. Doge, Doge is one of them. It could be argued that Cardano could be one of them. There's no DeFi to speak of. There's really no major institutions or anybody adopting or building on it. It's pretty much, Charles, promising that they're going to build DeFi and promising that they're going to bring, stables and that, they're going to bring native Bitcoin and, it's just, but, little to none of it actually materializes. So,
yeah. And I'm looking at the, crypto by market cap, just kind of looking at what layer 2s might be dropping out. And I mean, stuff like Optimism, Arbitrum.
Optimism, I think Optimism has some ground to stand on because the OP mainnet is what Velodrome uses. And it's what my understanding, what Aerodrome is going to use. And that's kind of what makes it, multi-chain is my understanding. And again, this is just my understanding. So I kind of wonder, and I know a lot of other protocols use it as well, as far as, to give access, to be multi-chain. So I don't know the details of it, but that's in my, actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's just ask freaking Miles.
Miles.
Hey, you know what? We'll ask Maya, and you all can judge.
Yeah.
Judge on your own. Hey, Maya, you there?
Hi. What's going on?
So, Maya, we're doing a little test here again. You against Miles. So, we have a question, and it has to do with Optimism, the crypto project. And my understanding is the Optimism mainnet is what's used by Velodrome, the decentralized finance protocol, to allow it to be multi-chain. The first part of my question is that true? And if it's not true, how does Optimism play into Velodrome?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Velodrome's multi-chain capabilities actually lean on Optimism's infrastructure. They utilize Optimism's superchain architecture to facilitate that cross-chain functionality. The Velodrome pools you see on other chains aren't running directly on those chains. They're settling on Optimism. So basically, Optimism handles all the transaction settlement for Velodrome when it's deployed on other networks like Arbitrum, Base, or ZK Sync.
They definitely improved her. So let's ask her something else. So Maya, so along that same line of thought, Velodrome and Aerodrome are about to merge. And it appears that the new platform, the new Aerodrome platform, is going to also use Optimism. Is that correct?
Yeah, looks like they're building the combined platform on Optimism as well. The plan is to move everything over, including their data and liquidity pools. The rationale is they want to consolidate everything under one roof and take advantage of Optimism's technology, specifically their data availability layer with their sovereign data availability committees, or DACs. Supposedly gives them better control over their data and reduces costs compared to using other layer 2 solutions. The whole idea is better efficiency, scalability, and hopefully just a cleaner ecosystem overall.
All right. So my final part of my question is, what have you, looking over the internet, what verifiable news can you give us, on the new Aerodrome platform as far as functionality and when it might be potentially launching? And if you could specifically ensure that you can find information on what the locks, the Aerodrome locks, how that is going to be affected, and some of the overall functionality of the new Aerodrome protocol, the platform itself, the UI, user interface.
Hang on, let me dig up the details. Okay, so it looks like the timeline is pointing to a launch in Q2 of this year. That's what all the sites are reporting. They're calling it Arrow now, the unified platform. A couple of key things. One, they're merging both the Arrow and Velo tokens into just Arrow. So that's going to shift things up with governance and token distribution. Functionally, Arrow's running on something called Metrix 03. That's their new operating system from Dromos Labs. And they're getting into MEV auctions and meta swaps across different chains. Seems like the big push is unifying governance and liquidity across multiple layer 2s with this new setup. As for the aerodrome locks, I haven't found anything specifically on the fate of those lock tokens, though I know it's a hot topic for holders right now. My search didn't pull up details on how the UI will change or what it looks like yet either.
Does she know
What-
does they have the UI?
What's going on?
What? Hold on. Let me. No, what's that?
I think she asked something about the UI.
Yeah, that's
Or-
kind of what I was hoping.
Hmm.
Hey, Maya, you kind of cut out there. What were you saying about the UI?
Hey there. What's up?
You were saying something just now when we were talking about the aerodrome protocol and platform, but you kind of cut out. You were saying something about the new UI. What is it that you were able to find about that?
Ah, right. Apologies for that glitch. And so about the UI for the new aerodrome, unfortunately, it came up empty on specifics about what it'll actually look like. All I found was that they're building an entirely new operating system from Dromos Labs, Metrix 03, but no visuals or user interface details yet. Seems like they're keeping that part under wraps for now.
That's what I thought. We were hoping that maybe you could find a little something, but I guess not. Thanks, Maya. Yeah, they definitely improved Maya. I haven't used her in months, but yeah, it's like before. I mean, I'd ask a question, and it would, before she'd even get to the meat of the answer, it would take freaking 30 fucking minutes. Whereas Miles was just like directing to the point. It's almost the opposite now. Like she was like right to the point. A lot of times Miles, kind of hems and haws around a little bit, and he's just like, well, let me see what I can find. She was just like, boom, on it.
Man, I was gonna say sometimes ladies need about 30 minutes before they can get to the meat of it.
Well, maybe somebody gave her a spanking. Who knows? It's just like somebody was like, all right, get to it. He was like, oh shit, all right.
This Dev's training her well, man.
Right. She's going through some training.
A little more on Aerodrome. So they announced yesterday or a couple days ago. They're included in the launch of Aragon's ownership token framework that evaluates tokens based on verifiable on-chain control and value accrual. So I guess Aragon is a project that powers protocols with products and services designated to manage capital allocation, governance, and ownership at scale. So they included Aerodrome. So they said tokens can only be evaluated on fundamentals when they have enforceable claims on value and capital flows. So they're launching a ownership token framework to measure how project fundamentals map to the token by evaluating ownership, value accrual, and verifiability. And these are some of the first included: Uniswap, Curve, Lido, Arrow, and Aave. So that's good to see.
Yeah.
David's big thing was like, how does it accrue value? How does it, get that value?
Back to token holders.
And stuff like that. So, this is
it's
another part
valid.
of that. Yep.
I mean, that's very valid. Is if you're going to invest in the token, why invest in it if none of the profits from that project make its way back to the token somehow? Because we keep saying it. Otherwise it's it's basically a meme coin.
Yeah. That's another step from the speculative, from just being speculation. to having good fundamentals and knowing what you're getting involved with, instead of just and being comfortable holding a token. Because like, you know, we can go back to the early web 2, right around the .com boom, where Amazon even took a hit, like 80% drop. And, you know, how many people do you think sold their bags thinking it was going to go to zero? And then now it's, you know, made it over $1,000 and then had to, you know, split the stock and all that crazy shit. So, you know, you just want to hold good, solid, sound projects. And if you're in a bunch of layer 2s, I suggest, you know, moving out of that. That I was looking at the price of Linea.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And I think I got out.
Well,
right
and
before.
they're supposedly working with Swift, you know, Swift and Chainlink.
Yeah. Yeah. I got out right before the October 10th dump. So, and now look, it's not even half a penny. So, man, that's that would have been so sad, you know,
Dude.
holding that.
Like people, I mean, I don't know, you know, if there's anybody left to capitulate. You know, I honestly, I don't know if there, you know, if there can be any more, you know, downside. I mean, obviously there can be more downside, but I just like, I mean, how, you know, how much worse can it get as far as, you know, people getting out of the market?
Yeah, all of them, man. Where's Black? Oh, I think
Oh, the Black token?
Oh, Black USD.
Yeah, Jay. So poll isn't going to explode. Well, depends on which poll.
Ooh, yeah. Oh man, yeah. Look at that, down to 3 cents.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, what else is it? Dude, Cosmos, that whole ecosystem is pretty much gonna go away, I think.
I think it's honestly, dude, I think it's going to be a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of projects moving to Ethereum from Cosmos. Just so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know, they initially, the Cosmos ecosystem was solid because they had this inter blockchain communication protocol, the IBC. And it was before you had all these other chains that could send funds back and forth to each other. So it was legit, but they just didn't capitalize off of it. It's kind of like the Cardano, you know, they try and build something and perfect little things and roll out slowly, but then it just gets lost in the noise and they don't really have any good solid shit on there. Yeah, and I don't know what's going to happen with Cardano. How long before you think Cardano just kind of goes away at this point?
I honestly don't know. I mean, and I don't know a whole lot about Cardano other than, you know, I've done my research on, you know, because I wanted to see, you know what? Let's go back to fucking Miles again. I want to ask and see if I can find something that I wasn't able to find. We'll ask Maya again. Hey, Maya.
Hey.
So, got another question for you. We want you to look up a project called Cardano. The ticker for it is ADA, Alpha Delta Alpha. Can you look at the information you can find on the internet and just give us a quick summary of anything of note that has been built on that chain that is currently active and running and earning revenue?
Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so Cardano's got a pretty solid ecosystem going, mostly in DeFi and NFTs. A few key dexes like MinSwap and SundaySwap are pulling in revenue from trading fees, and projects like
All right,
Liquid and
Maya, hold on. We don't want you to sugarcoat it. Look at the actual TVL on MinSwap and on Cardano's, in Cardano's DeFi, and compared to pretty much every other chain out there, it's almost non-existent. So we need a very factual and direct answer.
You're right to push back there. TVL on MinSwap is around $40 million right now, which is frankly pretty low. Total value locked across all of Cardano DeFi sits around $130 million as of this week. Compare that to Ethereum with $62 billion, or even Solana's $1.5 billion. It's a huge gap. Cardano definitely struggles with adoption and actual use compared to most other chains right now.
All right. That's what I needed. Thank you, Maya. Yeah. So every once in a while, you gotta, you gotta check them a little bit. They're not perfect, but they are very helpful. So yeah, it's the amount of TVL in DeFi and notice that she didn't bring up anything else, because I haven't heard of a single major project or a major institution or customer that is building on Cardano. Have you?
No, the last thing I heard was, or any kind of major news from Cardano was that what the fuck was it? The privacy token?
Midnight.
Midnight. Yeah, that's all I've heard. I didn't qualify for any of the airdrop. I think you had to hold a certain amount of certain tokens, and I checked all my wallets, but none of them were eligible. But yeah, I wasn't really expecting anything from it anyways. So yeah.
Well,
I opened my Cardano wallets in like over a year.
Well, dude, I mean, it boggles my mind that
Oh, he got rugged.
Canton, I mean, it has more than Ethereum, as far as TVL. I mean, it's just,
Yep.
I mean, a lot of these have a lot more going on for themselves, for them than Cardano. It just goes to show you how immature this market is. And, there's a reckoning coming. I don't think that we've seen the last of these, red days and, stuff like that. I think a lot of this needs to get washed out before, we can really have a true bull market again, with the institutions being involved now, because it's, it's not the speculation. It's not just, can there, be enough social media hype, and can they move the price enough to get new people with new liquidity to enter the market? Because that's all that was going on before, is, people would see, like me, they would see a social media post where, Bitcoin, or, some friggin' crypto project pumped, 300% today. And people are like, oh shit. So they jump on and they buy a couple $100 and it goes up another 50%. And they're like, oh shit. And they throw in another couple $100. And some people, it's a couple thousand or a couple 10,000, and, whatever it is that they, can afford to play with. But, I really think that for the most part, that's not what's going to move these markets anymore, as they mature more. And a lot of people, a lot of the OGs have been, freaking pummeled out of this fucking market. Those market makers that were washed out in October 10th, a lot of professional traders were way over leveraged. And like I said, their stop losses didn't trigger. And so they got fully liquidated. They lost everything. I mean, I even heard there were some suicides and stuff like that. So
yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
Jay was asking about the price of midnight. It's 5 cents right now.
yeah.
So this is the chart. I think it had a high of 11 or 12. It's where this wick went, and then crashed back down. But you look at ADA, holy shit, man. This hit this wick down to this 2023 low. And
Yeah.
even before that, it's almost to 2021 end of 2020 low. So it's really bad, man. Like ADA is just, I mean, what, since October, it's down from $1. Oh,
I mean, I just don't see, and honestly, the technology could be awesome. I just personally, I think that fucking Charles treats it way too much like his baby. You know, he just holds his baby way too hard because, you know, he thinks his baby's beautiful, and he doesn't. What is it that he's trying to build? I mean, other than the chain itself, you know, I mean, he doesn't let anybody do anything with it.
Yeah, I don't know. And poor DZ, Jay, poor DZ too, keeping
But it's not poor him. It's he just like, I mean,
well, he put a lot of bag. He's got a pretty big bag, I guess.
Well, but I mean, he's just like the XRP people, you know. It's just, you know, total. I mean, at least XRP, you know, they have some stuff going on. You know, I mean, there is, you know, at least some news that comes out about it from time to time and stuff like that. Nothing like the only news I ever see about Cardano is when fucking he's putting fucking ant gloves on and stuff and getting bit by ants and shit, you know, or going to Mongolia to hunt with hawks and, you know, doing all kinds of weird shit. I never see anything about the tech. You know, at least XRP every once in a while something will come out to where they're, you know, Ripple is, you know, getting acquiring a new company, or they're, you know, launching RLUSD, or, you know, they got a new, you know, approved to be a bank, or, you know, something. You know, at least there's something. I mean, it doesn't necessarily translate over to XRP, but, you know, at least something is going on that's drawing attention.
Did Charles fully step back? I mean, is he like, when does he plan on fully stepping back from Cardano? Because I know that he was talking about that.
I don't know.
Well, Charles is back at dev mode. He announced it last week. Okay. He's got to figure something out because this shit is this shit is dying. It's on life support compared to other projects. Beep, 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 beep. We could go lower. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, shit. We can probably wrap this up.
Oh, we got it. Oh shit, we're at the hour.
Yeah. It's like we went long last night. I'll be honest, man. This has been a long fucking week, man. You know, doing 2-3 shows a day, and, you know, the research involved, and I got you know, some other stuff going on as far as, you know, projects and things like that. And so, yeah, it's, you know, freaking from the time I get up with the newsletter and everything else. Yeah, Matt, give me a call, brother. Freaking, I'd be happy to talk with you, man. But, Gravy is stealing the show.
Yeah, we got Gravy, and then my black boy right here. Keith. What's up?
They're looking at the freedom. They're trying. They're like POWs. They're like POWs. They're like friggin' day 832 of captivity. The human continues to starve us and not allow us to go outside.
Oh man, when I open the windows, they're just right there at the screen, just sniffing and sniffing.
Yeah. Fucking my cat fucking loves sniffing the outside.
and they love sniffing each other's butts, which is weird. But
hey, it's their thing. You know what? We shake hands, they sniff butts.
Yep. Yeah, could you imagine if humans actually did some of the stuff cats do, just like sniffing at other humans' butts, or
right
after they use the bathroom, they just run around the office?
yeah, like fucking zoomy and shit. Well, Jeff, like jump on tonight. I know I got a couple of blueprints on arc raiders for you and Ellie, and then I got some rubber ducks for Ellie. I've been collecting them up for, and freaking yeah, and I know Jay has some stuff too that he wants to give you guys. So yeah, at least jump on. We'll all game it up. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. Well, Nick Dunn, Matt, Jay, freaking Twinkle Bell, Ellie, freaking Jacob, all of you out there, we appreciate you. And until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Later.